join us here today at Makins Fishery in Coventry. I'm sure you've got a venue like this near to your home. There's loads of venues like this all over the country now, and at Daiwa we saw the opportunity to develop a range of rods specifically for commercial venues, UK made rods, and they're called the AIRITY X Slim rods. I've been using the float rods today, had a few nice carp. Will's been using the feeder rods, he's caught a real mixture of fish. Let's grab Will off his box and we go through the features of these rods and explain to you why they're so special. What have we got, another F1 or a carp?
F1 I think, mate.
Nice, nice.
A couple of carp at the start, but just chase them out, and it's all F1s really at the moment.
They're nice fish though, aren't they, these F1s?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So with these AIRITY X Slim rods, Will, you've been involved with them right from the very start in the design of them.
Yeah.
How do they fit into your fishing on a commercial venue?
Well, for me, you know, they keep what is important for me with the rods being quite short, but they're just that little bit more powerful. And, you know, a lot of the venues I fish, mate, are decent sized commercials where you've got to cast quite a way.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, every single rod in the range is fantastic, but as you know, you do develop your favourites and that, and the one I'm using today, the 10-foot power, is definitely one of my favourites. As I've already touched on, I do fish commercials a lot, but they are the bigger commercials. And a bit like here today, you need to chase the fish out. I like fishing with a short rod, I like playing fish on a short rod, and obviously with the AIRITY power, I can achieve the distance still whilst fishing with a short rod that's nice to cast, nice to fish with, and even more importantly, nice to play the fish on.
Nice, very nice. Okay, well let's get all the other rods out, have a look through them all, and run through the ins and outs of the whole range, shall we?
Yep, definitely, mate. So here we are on the bank with the full range of the AIRITY X Slim rods. They really do look the part, Pem, don't they? Yeah,
they look a little bit different to our traditional looks. Even gone down to the trouble of sourcing some grey EVA handle now, so yeah, a bit of a different look, Will. Yeah,
like I say, I mean, I am an absolute sucker for good looking gear. I just can't get enough of it. Obviously it's got to perform very well on the bank to the highest of standards, which it does, but you can't beat rods and fishing tackle that absolutely looks the business, can you?
No, it's nice to have it looking nice as well as performing nice.
Yeah, like exactly. And obviously it's not all about looks. The way that these rods perform, they've obviously got a lot of tech gone into them. Yeah,
these are built in the UK rods, so it allows us to use our own factory in the UK, our Daiwa factory, and quite simply we've packed as much tech into it as we can. We've got the X45X, which makes the rod really responsive, straighten up really quickly, really good bit of kit to have in top end rods.
And that helps with obviously slimming the blanks down as well.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. X Slim, as it says in the name, we've tried to slim these rods down from the AIRITY X45 rods. They're an average of 5.5% slimmer, so when you're dealing with really fine lines as it is, because the AIRITY rod range as a whole has been around for a long time. We're happy we've got it down just even 1 or 2%, to be honest. So to get it down over 5%, we're happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. And also the reel handle.
Yeah, reel seat itself is a Daiwa tournament reel seat. Been a stable diet along UK made Daiwa match and feeder rods now for a long time, something you must have used yourself a hell of a lot over the years.
Yeah, I mean, for me it's such an important feature of any rod. You don't want your reel to move, you don't want it to work loose, and it has to be comfortable as well.
Definitely.
When you're fishing fast, pellet waggler, method feeder to islands, you're not really putting your rod down. One, your reel mustn't move, and two, it must be a very comfortable rod to fish with. And having fished with them a lot, like I say, not only do they look the absolute business, but like I say, the performance levels are so high.
And also, of course, being a Daiwa rod, we made sure we've got the arm lock handle in there, something that we love using, customers love using. Yeah,
I don't think you realise how important that is until you have a go with a rod that hasn't got it.
Yeah, agreed.
And then you realise just the importance of that. Obviously, we spoke about my favourite, the 10-foot power. I like the 1.5 ounce yellow tip, but they do come with other tips as well.
Yeah, all the quiver tip rods have got mega top quiver tips in it, our top range quiver tips. Real good tech in the quivers themselves. Each rod comes with 3 different quivers, so it gives you a nice range.
Yeah.
And also, with them being on commercial based rods, a lot of folk now like to use shop leaders.
Yeah.
Even if they're only fishing 40 or 50 metres with a 11 or 12 foot rod, they like to use a shop leader. So we've made sure we've included some of the BG, which stands for Big Guide quiver tips, just to help that shop leader go through.
Addition to the range of rods, that is.
Yeah.
I mean,
keep
again,
everyone happy.
like you say, I like to fish with shop leaders a lot of the time, not necessarily to stop snapping off, but in the cold, you know, months of the year when the water's clear, a fluorocarbon shop leader is, you know, for me is vitally important, catches you more fish. And like you say, those bigger guides goes through the rings much easier and enables you to still achieve the distance that you want to fish.
Definitely, yeah, a nice worthy addition.
So in the range of the AIRITY X Slim rods, Pem, there's 9.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we've got 5 feeder rods, 4 float rods. Starting off with the feeder rods, you've got 2 10-foots. You've got a normal, if you want to call it normal, 10-foot. So like very progressive action, pretty much a parabolic action, lovely fish playing action. Obviously for shorter range, smaller fish. Then we've got the real Raison favourite, 10-foot power.
10-foot, that's definitely one of my favourites.
So when would you use the power over the normal one, Will, for your fishing?
Yeah, so like I say, a lot of the commercials I fish are slightly bigger. You've got adverse weather conditions, the wind and the weather can just change at the drop of a hat. And when I'm not sure, that to me is a bit of kit that, like I say, with decent mainline, I can still cast a bomb or a method feeder a long way. And like I say, that's developing into one of my sort of all-round go-to bits of kit.
Nice.
But having said that, you know, the AIRITY X Slim, not the power version, again, is just a fantastic bit of kit. But what I love about this range is there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people are going to find their favourites, their go-to rod in this range.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's, you got your 2 10-foot feeders, and then similar with the 11-foot, you've got a normal 11-foot and a power 11-foot. And then you've got a standalone 12-foot, as we touched on earlier, still a 2-piece rod, so greatly suited to commercials. There's only one 12-foot because we had the opinion that if you're going to be using a 12-foot rod, you're going to want that power, so you're not really going to want a softer rod. You're going to want that power version.
Still nice to play fish.
Still got a nice bit of finesse, but like you said, you've got the extra casting power.
And the handles are slightly different, am I right in saying?
Yep. So we fiddled around with the handles like we do now to make them just right for each particular rod. And I think it was you that had the good idea of having the power versions with a slightly longer handle, just because you want that extra pulling power to pull the butt in.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely aids you when you're putting, you know, a decent sized method feeder or a bomb quite a long way out. And I think that's one of the reasons that the power ones have really turned into my favourite.
Then moving on to the float rods, something you use a lot for your pellet waggler fishing, I imagine. We've got one 10-foot, really nice action rod, this one, for anything from F1s to big carp. Then we've got 2 11-foots. Because the 11-foots are always the most popular in a commercial float rod range, we thought we'd do 2. So you've got a power version somewhere suited to your home venue, Gold, I imagine, very well. And then you've got the step down version, if you like, the non-power version, maybe suited to somewhere like Lindholme Lakes, where the fish are a bit smaller, lots of F1s, that sort of thing. And then we've got the 12-foot, again, 2-piece float rod. I know you've been using that quite a bit in the testing stages. What sort of thing are you using it for?
So again, you know, when you're looking at not using, say, a 4, 5, 6 gram float, but an 8 or a 10 gram float, where distance, you know, is important. You want to achieve that distance and you want to achieve it on a regular basis. Just a slightly longer rod definitely aids me with that. And what I don't want to be doing is casting and my float landing short, or I'm forcing my float and it's going left or right. We all know how important it is. A lot of the time you see a fish move and you want to cast to it. And like I say, the slightly longer one, mate, for me, with a 10, 8 gram float, just enables me to achieve the distance every single time.
So another thing you notice, helps me and Will in our fishing, they're all 2-piece rods. In general, commercial, folk that go on commercial waters prefer 2-piece rods. Even the 12-foot one over there near Will, the 12-foot float, the 12-foot feeder here, both 2-piece. You notice on the joint as well, we've included our top-notch joint technology, the V-joint Alpha. That eliminates any flat spots in these rods, even though they've got a spigot. So all two-piece rods, particularly suited to commercial venues.
Well, that's the full range of the AIRITY X Slim rods. All the tech, everything you need to know, everything that's gone into these rods. Don't think we've missed anything. There's 9 rods in the range, and like I say, and like Pem has already said, there will be one that suits you, and the addition of some power models for me is absolutely fantastic. Let's go and catch a few more fish.
Not turn you down there.